What is going on, everybody? And welcome to another Beta Memoirs. And today, we had the digestion of the FOMC notes and we took quite the dip. Now, today, what I was looking for was a retest on the daily to see what we would see, and that's exactly what it actually looks like. We do have the 20 EMA, and we are retesting it. Now, being said, we have Jackson Hole next week. Tomorrow is Friday. I think this bounce today was a relief bounce indeed. And where are we going to head from here? That is the most interesting question. We do need a pullback, right? We've been going quite high. Everybody's saying crash, crash, crash. I don't believe there's a crash. There are certain things in the market that are indicating it's not a crash. Yes, people may have not liked the tapering being pushed off. The Fed's trying to essentially talk about the tapering that they're doing is not raising rates, but stop purchasing of other assets. So being said, you have market digestion. And of course, there's going to be a relief bounce because we sold off quite a bit from last night. Even a lot of big tech sold off pretty heavy overnight. And we bounce back. But again, the biggest thing is, are we retesting old support? That is my concern. Not that I'm really concerned. I don't, again, think we're crashing. I think we could use a correction. Is it going to happen? Back in March, again, I've talked about this before. We've had, I think it was about a 7.5% pullback at that point. That was about the biggest correction we had. And then we just took off from that point. Are we going to see it again? Possibly. There's a lot more stuff coming out next week with the Jackson Hole, and then we got the whole determining if Powell is going to stay or not, which is next month. So there's still a couple more key things here to keep in mind that could possibly sway the market. Again, there's nothing else really out there. The Delta variant stuff has been floating around. Nobody really seems to be worried about that. Unless there are lockdowns. But lockdowns, even the talk of lockdowns and a lot of the mandatory stuff is really kind of dissipated from last week. I mean, I haven't been right on top of news outlets to see, but I haven't really seen a lot coming across the wire for that, and I have been previously before that. So ultimately, again, no watch list tomorrow. Stay with FANG. Ultimately, tomorrow is what I'm looking at. But like I said, tech, Tesla just rattled around. Tesla, this is one thing to keep in mind with Tesla, is it a failed attempt. I thought we would have actually broke here, but we got denied again. Tesla's going to sell. This is just a retest. Oversold bounce is essentially what this was, a retest of old support. And now I believe we're going to continue to sell on Tesla. So then you have Facebook. I mean, Facebook has been kind of just trading sideways. Not really a lot going on with that. Facebook at support. I mean, you look at Tesla support. You look at any of the big tech, they are in a bad spot. This is a rollover. What is about to happen? We broke the 20. We're retesting the 20. At that point, we kind of, after we do a retest, we kind of just butter through the 50. Then really just depends, and you start looking at other supports. Possibly get down. Be nice if we got 310 on Facebook, but I don't know if that's going to be possible. I don't think we're going to pull back that hard. Apple is another one. It broke 20. It's retesting the 20. I don't like that. In my mind, that is cue for more of a sell-off about ready to happen. Even Google. Google didn't quite break. Google is actually still holding. How long? I don't know. But this will definitely be one of the lead indicators on if tech is really going to go down, because they're one of the ones that really crushed earnings out of all of them and didn't have anything bad about it. So being said, if Google starts to turn and starts selling off, then it start to be a little bit more a concern about what's going on with tech. Again, it's going to be tech. Tech is going to be the one that is going to crush the rest of the year. With the no inflation, no tapering going on the rest of the year, we'll get a confirmation of that next week. We might just sell off till next week. How much of a pullback we'll get, maybe the only pullback that we get, I don't know. Don't take my word for it. Don't plan accordingly. I'm going day to day. That's why a lot of the videos I don't like. Recent videos I haven't been giving watch lists because right now we don't know. There's a lot of uncertainty, and there's no point taking longer term positions when you don't know what's going on. Just like all the big whales in the market, so that's something to keep in mind. But being said, Roblox have been holding solid, but it's actually breaking back down below here support. So we'll have to see where this one heads up. It's been one of the stronger ones the past 2 days. It traded sideways. Amazon it broke the 200, retested the 200 a day, and now it's getting ready to dump. Shop has held up well, but is in the same spots. It just it keeps retesting that 20. In my mind, as soon as it breaks this 1458, it's going to really start selling from that point. What day this is, maybe we'll have a really bad down Friday or really bad down Monday. I think we'll ultimately these major supports are going to break and these are going to come down. Again, no real horrible possible news, but it is the only news that is going to pull us down. Again, if we do get anything about Powell not coming back, I think that we could get a little bit bigger of a pullback. If he is coming back, then we might not get as bad of a pullback, in my opinion, because I don't think he's going to change his song and dance next week. I mean, anything is possible, but he may not change that. Again, all the Fed members are all kind of split and everything. Some want to taper this year. Others want to wait till next year. Others are kind of indefinite and want to see what's going to happen before they start even talking about it. So we'll have to see what happens. But one thing to keep in mind is I started looking at metals as well. Metals are kind of trying to make a comeback. I haven't really been playing them only because there's other stuff that plays a lot better. TLT has still been holding pretty solid. We haven't gotten any too crazy of a movement. It's just kind of filling out the market, which is good to see. The dollar is still rocketing. VIX. The VIX is coming down. It did retest 200, which may not be a good thing. That might be that tomorrow. VIX might actually be up quite a bit tomorrow. So that's something to keep in mind. I am not in any. I do have a Clove Leaps position that I took yesterday. Just holding that throughout. Once we get through this little spot, I figured health, any kind of thing in the health industry, although Clove is kind of more of like a health growth potential there. But anything in the health industry, I think will hold pretty well for the most part. We'll have to see. But going into the fall, I think we'll get some kind of boost there. Nonetheless, Microsoft had an incredible day. It did push extremely hard. So that's a bright side. That's kind of showing us some strength somewhere. Again, when there's any kind of volume, whether it's continuation from our earnings or whatever the case is, that is where the volume goes. Especially because hasn't been a lot of volume this month. And also why I keep talking about playing FANG, because normally that's where the volume is for the most part, not always, but for the most part. Trying to think, BA actually started coming down. Trying to go around the horn here, BA. So you got your value stocks, your travel stocks pulling back today as well. Your banks are breaking down to a support that would actually be surprised if this does a tank overnight. I'm not being surprised. On the daily, everything looks really bad. Although last time I did say that, technically wise, it really didn't matter. We still popped out. That very well could be the case tomorrow. The market really isn't making 110%. There's no understanding really of what's going on in the market and how it's moving. For the most part, I try to give my best educated assumptions or theories on what is going on based on technical analysis and what I know about in the news, and keeping up to date with everything, watching the leaders, again, like Tesla, Facebook, Apple, the growth, watching value, watching banks, and kind of seeing what's playing out. So ultimately, that's where you're going to see it start making moves. And so, being said, again, daily, big tech, essentially everything is looking pretty rough on the daily. We want to see what tomorrow brings. Maybe we get it down Friday, down Monday. We did have one of those 2 weeks ago, about 2 weeks ago. And so we really want to see what happens there. But that is pretty much what I got. I don't want to continue to kind of rant here. It's pretty straightforward. We want to see what happens in the overnight session and then plan accordingly. I wouldn't, in my mind, unless something really changes tomorrow, I do not even plan. I'll be all cash for the weekend. I want to see what comes into Jackson Hole and see how the market is going to react then. We might start even just trading sideways from here into Jackson Hole until we get more of a confirmation on what exactly is going on. And then we might see some more bigger moves at that point. Again, the bounce today was good to see. There was still a lot of strength there, but we still want to make sure that follow through is there because technically wise, we are just retesting old support, which is not a good sign. That might mean for the next leg down. So we definitely want to keep an eye on that. So if you've made it this far, remember to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later.